Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the admin briefing series from Trafera. I'm Rusty Richards, part of the Google Workspace technical team here at Trafera, previously with Kincaid IT. Many may have heard that Trafera has assumed operations of Kincaid IT, which now brings more value and offerings to our customers. We cannot be more excited to be part of the Trafera team and to start offering these webinars again. Let's jump right in and learn about Trafera. Shortly after that, dive into the admin briefing. Kate from the Trafera team will be keeping an eye on the comments. Lindsay?
Hi, it is so nice to be here with everybody. So before we get started, I just want to preface this by saying we are not going to do this every meeting, but we did want to go through and just give you a little overview of Trafera and who we are, what we believe, and what we do, and what a partnership with Trafera looks like. So let's get started. When you partner with Trafera, you're going to get the right technology, the right support, and if we do our jobs well, you're going to get a bright future for your students, teachers, and staff. So what does that really mean? I have to remember to click. Okay, so these are just some of the technology solutions that we offer as a company. We offer Chromebooks, Windows PCs, interactive displays like your interactive flat panels, and that also includes the interactive gyms like the loos. I'm not going through the whole list, but these are some of the things that we offer. Basically, besides for wiring and network, we offer if it's in the classroom, we offer it and we support it, okay? So just a couple of our partners, we have Lenovo, Promethean, Newline, Google, Microsoft. So we have a wide variety of partners that we can offer and right support for you guys. Okay, so right support. So what does that mean? With right support, that just means that our support does not stop once the purchase is finished. We don't hand you the devices and say, here you go, have fun with it. We offer support for your educators with professional development that we offer. And then we also offer support for IT teams, which includes things like our white glove services, our warranty, which I think is the best in the business, and installation services. So we'll get a little bit more in depth with that. The IT support, pre-deployment services like your white glove services on Chromebooks before we ship them out, we set them up for you, including your pre-enrollment, OU assignment. We offer etching, which is a great security feature, asset tagging, warranty and repair. So we have a great warranty, like I said. We also offer repair, and we also are an authorized service provider for Lenovo, Promethean, HP, and more. And what that means is even if you don't buy the devices from us, we are still certified to repair them or authorized to repair them. So if you need help with repairs, we can help you there. We also offer nationwide installation services for your IFPs, your classroom audio, and the interactive gyms, the loos that I was talking about. In some regions, we also offer local pickup and delivery, which means if you have broken devices that need to be repaired, instead of having to ship them, we can pick them up, bring them to our repair center, repair them, and then return them back to you without having to go through the shipping process. Google Managed Services, which is new and which I'm super excited to offer, and that's part of why we're here today. And then we have a customer portal for our warranty and repair information, but we also, if you use Incident IQ, we also have an integration with Incident IQ where all of that, your Trafera warranty repair and part workflows are all in one place. So it's just one ticketing system for you to have everything you need in one place. And then the educator support that we offer, we have professional development for your teachers. Basically, it's tech focused, but it's pedagogically rooted. We offer On Demand, which is our virtual platform where we have a ton of courses. We have a lot of Google courses. We have courses for Promethean, for Newline. And it's not just educator focused. There's a lot there for educators, but there's some things in there for your IT staff as well. We are about to release a Google for Admin course in that on-demand platform, which we're super excited about. We also offer on-site or virtual professional development. We are a certified Google PD provider, which is very exciting. And then we have our ed team is all former educators. Okay. And then we also offer Trails, which is our digital lesson library. Right now, we have over 600 lessons that are ready-made, tech integrated lesson plans designed to be a supplement to the curriculum that teachers use. all ages, all grades, all subject levels, and everything the teachers need is included in that lesson plan. So this is our education team. We have 9 educators on staff, and counting. Corey was our recent person to come on the team, and we're super excited to have them. He's going to be leading the admin portion of this. My name is Lindsay Keeley. I am in Lafayette, Louisiana. So former teacher, and I was also a former supervisor of technology in Lafayette in Louisiana. And then we've got a wide range of people here. Josh is here and Scott Gennard are here. You'll also see them on some of the future webinars. So they're part of this education team. And then we also have our new technical team at Trafera. These are names and faces you may recognize. These are our Kincaid friends that came over to Trafera, and we're so happy to have them on our team. We have Alex, Aaron, and Rusty. And so just a great addition to our Trafera team and to the offerings that we're now able to add. So with all of that, the right technology, the right support, we hope that that leads to a bright future for your students and teachers and your community, for just all of the things that we can offer and the ways that we can support you. So our mission statement is to improve just basically it boils down to improving educational technology in the classroom. So I am going to, that's our Trafera's feel. That's who we are, kind of what we believe. If you have any questions, Kate is moderating the chat. You can put them in the chat or reach out to one of us after this and we can give you any kind of information that you need. But it is so nice to be here with you guys, and I'm going to turn it over to Corey.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. Lindsay, can I drive?
Absolutely. I'm gonna stop.
I'm going to present my screen here real quick, and then we will go from there. Get up to the spot where I want to be. And here we go. Okay, very good. Good morning, everyone, or morning in Minnesota. Hopefully everyone is doing well today. We have a beautiful breezy day here in Minnesota. What I'd love to do is I'm going to do a couple of just bring up to speed on introductions and then get into the admin briefing. But if you haven't done so yet, check in from where you're joining us from in the chat. So go ahead and check in and tell us where you are joining us from. It's always fun to hear from people and where they're checking in from. So please do so. And as you do that, I'll just say that my name is Corey Kling. As Lindsay shared, I am a TLC, or a teaching and learning consultant with Trafera. Myself, Lindsay, and Scott will be your primary presenters for these admin briefings. And Josh will check in from time to time as well on that team, but you'll see our faces and hear from us at these admin briefings on a regular basis. We're busy people and sometimes we're pulled away to different places, so it may be a different person, but you're in great hands no matter what. So we're seeing people from all over. I appreciate the check-in. Really excited to do this work and really excited to have an opportunity to do these admin briefings. So real quick about myself, I'm a former IT director for a school district here in the Twin Cities Metro. I was a super admin in the Google environment, spent a great deal of time within that Google environment, and I'm excited about being able to share some updates with all of you. So keeping to the format that you guys are used to, it'll be basically the bulk of these will be the briefing, or kind of just bringing you up to speed on things that you need to know that are new in Google. And as you all know, things move fast in the Google world, and they also roll out at different speeds. So I'll just put the caveat out there already that I'll talk about some things today that you may or may not see in your Google Workspace environment, just because they tend to roll out, as you know, periodically, and sometimes the feature is within your domain and sometimes it isn't. So let's proceed from here. We are going to try and stay tight to our time span today and try and stay within 30 minutes. You're all very busy people. So let's get started. Okay, so first thing I want to speak about or talk about is Drive. And in so doing, I want to just throw a quick poll up there that will give us an opportunity to hear from you in the poll environment. So I'm going to launch that poll right now. And the question of the poll is, or in the poll is, do you use workspaces in Google Drive? And while you answer that poll, are you seeing it, Rusty? Can you give me a thumbs up if you're seeing it? Very good. The reason for this question is primarily because Google Drive or Google as a company has tried to really add some functionality or features within Drive to make it more accessible and easier to curate. If you're like me, you have a great deal of files and they're kind of all over, and you try to folder those files and you try to organize, but it can, with the shared with me, it can get to be like, life in the cloud, and you feel a little overwhelmed. And so they've tried to add some tools to the Drive environment that help you organize and curate and collaborate your files. So I'll touch on a couple of those today within the Drive environment, but I just wanted to see if you've taken a look at or had an opportunity to use Google Workspaces. So that is very good. Thank you. So jumping in and jumping forward, I'm going to move off of that poll. And I am going to then just basically there's within Drive, there's two things I want to talk about today. The first one is if you go in your Google Drive and on the left-hand side, you click on activity, there are some new structures and organizations there that allows you to be able to see up-to-date recent information. So basically, pending access requests, recent comments, and approvals for files are all at the top, and they're organized into those sections. And so if you can go ahead and pop into a different browser and check your Drive and see if that activity option is there, and see if you see these things that are organized in this way. And for me, it's I love it. For example, the access request thing on the top, what I was utilizing was within Google Spaces. I was running the Drive app, and that app would notify me when something was done within my Drive environment. This is much more convenient, and it's built in. And then recent file shares are now on the Drive activity page as well. So I just mentioned that is the shared with me, the recent comments, and the access requests. And the access request thing is the one that I had really followed when I had Drive app running in my Spaces. So this brings it to the top of the Drive environment, and I really love that feature. Okay, then there's files and hover card previews. So this is something that we're kind of get used to in a lot of different platforms. This idea of if I mouse over something, it's going to do a little file card or hover card pop up so I can see what it is. This one's super cool. And I noticed this is on in my personal Gmail account. It is not on yet in our domain here at Trafera. And it's just one of those things where it's like it rolls out dependent upon where you are and so on and so forth. So there's a range of time that Google turns these on. So when you hover over any file, then you see a little short, not a shortcut, but a little preview of what that file is. So a beautiful puppy there is previewed. And you can see that when you mouse over some of the other files, it gives you that little bit of a snippet or a preview. So really exciting new feature and something I think that will save people a lot of time in their Drive environment. Okay. Again, go ahead and pop in if you have any questions. Now, Spaces. So I was talking about it as Spaces chat. I know that is redundant, but Spaces is within chat, and it's a place where it's designed to be a collaborative environment that, let's be honest, that is competitive with some of the other industry standard applications like this, for example, Slack. And so with this Spaces and the Spaces updates and the updates that are rolling out, it really adds additional features that make it more and more usable and attainable for organizations in terms of how they're interacting with fellow employees within that organization. And so you think about spaces in the educational world. When I was an IT director, we would use these as big picture items that would last for a long time. So for example, like to track or to monitor a construction project, because you could add files and you can add tasks in there. So that has a project management component. And we also would sometimes, it would be something short term, like a demo. We ran a Chromebook Plus demo for teachers, and we were doing all of our tracking and conversations of that demo or that demo work within that space. And then that space just sat there, and my Spaces just grew exponentially over time. So there's some cool things here that will help administrators with that. So first of all, on the user side, as a member of a space, you can now select one of the options is all. And so basically you can set your notifications, and within Spaces, the where you do this is in the space title, in the name of the space, and you click on that space or hover over that space, and there's 3 dots, and you can click on those 3 dots, and notifications are one of the options. And with the notifications, you could set it now at all, and so you're going to get notified with any changes, any work in your spaces, and you're going to get notified about it, as opposed to some of the other options that were there where it was main conversations, for you, or none. And so if you're a member of a space and anything happens within that space, you'll get notified. Now, if you like that, if you like to be notified of all those things, great. And if it's too much, I see Lindsay shaking her head. For me, it's too much too. Too many notifications are overwhelming. I joked with a friend last weekend about how, the cloud is going to be the end of humanity, right? Because we're just always on, it's always on, and the work is always there, right? So if this option is selected, then you're going to be notified, like I said, of all things and all mentions and so on. So that's available on the user side, and you can see the breadcrumbs there on how you would do that underneath the picture on the right-hand side. Now, on the administrative side, there's an exciting new option here. 2 of them actually, and this is both user side and administrative side, but as a space manager, so dependent upon how you do your space managers, but basically it's the person that creates a space is usually the space manager. But as a space manager, you can now make an email address for a space. And when I thought about this and when I reflected on it, I was like, yeah, I don't quite get the reason for this. But as I read about it in some forums, one really awesome user case for this that makes perfect sense to me is the world. In email, things just get lost. I tend to do my email from the bottom up, and it feels like I never get to the top, right? But at least I'm trying to keep up in a day or two. So if you have an email and you used to add a flag or a filter to it or whatever, but it has to do with a group of people in your organization that are space users, then you might forward an email to this address that you create, and now it's in this space, and then you actually could utilize or have a task to assign that particular task to a user. So would you directly send an email to this group? Maybe. Would you forward emails to this group? I think, yeah, all the time. So in terms of the spaces chat and the ability to be able to create an email address for a space, it's a really cool functionality. And then you have to kind of have that conversation with yourself, right? Is this redundant with groups and how we use group as an organization? Or is this something that will be a value add for our organization? And so with that being said, I do want to just throw another, let me just throw another poll out there that kind of helps us gauge the audience about spaces. So you can see I've got one on there right now, but if you haven't answered yet, does your organization use spaces? I have that poll up. If you could pop into polls with the little controls in the lower right-hand corner, the activities, and answer that question, that'd be great. So does your organization currently use spaces? Spaces is one of those things, just like anything Google, where it rolled out, and I'm sure you were briefed on it in the past and some of these updates in the past. But it's something that when it first came out, it was a nice little, addition, but it was a little bit niche. It's becoming more and more, I think, usable, and I think more and more of a value add for organizations as they continue to add these features. So I'd encourage you, if you're not using it, to give it a second look. So thank you for replying to that poll. Let me end that one. We're going to jump back out here to the presentation. Okay, now Security Center, admins. All right, so I want to jump into a couple things here and talk about these, and then I'm going to circle back to a question that I want to answer or ask the group. So jumping into Security Center, if I have a QR code on the screen, the reason for that is for you to be able to just go ahead and grab your phone and open up the article that goes into more detail on this. It's an opportunity for you to be multitasking and to maybe save that on your phone just to read about later. But basically, one of the new admin functions that's available is that there are second step methods that you can use as an organization, and you could use these second step methods before, say, for example, Google Authenticator, as a second or a two-step verification second option, or the second verification step, right? You could use Authenticator before, but you had to enter an email address, and then you could basically circle back and replace that with Authenticator, if that makes sense. But you had to have an email address as your first option for an MFA. Okay, now you can use Google Authenticator or a hardware security key before you have to, or even without having to utilize an email address as that secondary factor. So it really kind of skips a step and speeds things up. Personally, my preferred method is a text and a code, right? But the Google Authenticator app, the more I use it, the more I get used to it, the more I like it. So it kind of comes down to personal preference of your organization, and then of course educating your organization on how to use these factors. And then in the K-12 school, we all know, I'm not going to name names, but we all know the employee groups that are the hardest to reach with two-factor authentication. So it's, bless them, they do very wonderful work, but they just aren't on computers very often. So this will give you more options and be more flexible. And thank you for that, Rusty. It's available to all editions. I appreciate that. All right. So that is the new two-step verification simplified. This one is a little bit involved as well. So I put a QR code on here so you could read about this if you'd like. But of course, any of these, you can go ahead and do a little bit of digging on your own. But I think the overview here will give you the gist of it if you want to circle back to it. But this one is a little bit unique in terms of its flexibility for different operating systems. So you can block compromised mobile devices now using context-aware access. So basically, if you have a rogue smartphone or a rogue tablet out there, quote unquote, out there that may be compromised, and they have on that tablet or phone the Gmail, a Gmail app, and they're trying to sign into their district. Thank you for that, Rusty. They're signing it. Rusty is my guy for accountability. That's awesome. Rusty, you have to be on every webinar from now on. So it's like that added layer of making sure everyone knows what they need to know about the licensing level. And also makes Corey know, third person speak, that he needs to add a little subtitle about that on all future ones. I'm thinking an icon for each. But anyway, basically you do this, you set this up, and then you have the ability to block that rogue device that's trying to sign in to their Gmail or whatever it may be on an iOS or an Android device. You can read more about how to set that up here. This GIF kind of shows you the steps, but you also can read more about how to set that up with a QR code that is on the screen. And then so you know what it kind of looks like for that end user when they're trying to access it. You can see that image there underneath the GIF is what it'll look like for that end user trying to access from a compromised device. So it's just a really nice additional layer of security. All right, I love it. Okay, now Sheets. Okay, so jumping into Sheets. This is a little more on the end user, but again, the organizational and the end user on Sheets side. But I really love these as an IT leader, some of these two that I'm going to show you, because we did so much project management in Google Sheets. And we also did so much just basic data entry and tracking of information. So think, for example, inventory management, right? So there's two things I'm going to show here that will make that inventory management or that you can share out to your instructional folks that are building resources that will save them time in Google Sheets. So jumping into those right now, these are super simple and make sense, I think, and don't take a lot of digging and explaining. Basically, the first one is quickly formatting a set of data into a table. So you think, like, you look at this basic spreadsheet with basic information. We've all built 1,000 of these with 6 columns, and you fill in the information and it looks okay. And then you can go in and you can put borders on it and you can make colors and whatever. But the cool thing about this is you just highlight a range and you go to format and you select the create a table or make it into a table. And then it It makes it a fully functional table or convert to table where that table structure didn't exist within Sheets anymore. And so I know that many of you probably have made things in Sheets and you've copied it and pasted into a table in a doc just because it looks better or vice versa. This adds an additional feature here. So really cool. And then when you combine that with the next one that I'll show you, I think there's a lot of applications that you could consider for this. The next one is, and here's the thing about the first one, I want to be transparent with you. The first one, this one, the formatting and organizing data, this is available now, and I just tried it and I used it and it was great. All right. And then within our domain, I went to the next one here, and maybe Rusty can hold me to account on this one on availability. I know now I put him on the spot. But basically you can create, I want you to think about like a table that you've made before or a spreadsheet that you've made before where you have basically 3 or 4 different words you can enter in the same column over and over again. So like if if it were a budgetary sheet and it was like paid, to be paid, thank you, sir, paid, to be paid, not on cycle, whatever it may be, but like those terms are repeated over and over again. What you can do now is you can highlight a range or a row or a column, and then a pop-up will come up that says convert to drop-down chips. And then basically it's going to make within each cell those 3 or 4 words that are commonly repeated over and over again in that column into drop-down chips. And then you could just select those drop-down chips within each cell, and it saves you the time of having to be able to just retype them, and it also organizes it and makes it look cleaner and tighter. So the chips within Sheets, if you haven't used them, are just a fantastic value add. So this is kind of a cool way to just take another step to save you time. Okay, Meet. All right, I'm going to show you this right now. This one I love. New Meet annotations are available. Just throw a couple out there quick. On your screen, if you are in a meet and you're leading the meet and you're presenting, you get this cool little tool that shows up. You can see it on your screen as that blue oval with a little squiggly line on it. But I can add things like sticky notes to my presentation. Okay, so that's kind of cool. You see that, Lindsay? Thumbs up on the, okay. All right. Now, sticky notes actually I've learned have to be deleted with by selecting the outside of the box, and you have to get rid of those. So that's one that's a little different, where it's not just one that I can erase all. But now if I go to a pen, I can circle parts or things on my screen and change the color. So this is just an awesome additional feature that you can do or built in. There were third-party extensions and tools that were available before, but this is something that's super cool that's within the presentation tools now. So Education Standard Plus and the Teaching and Learning Upgrade are required for this additional feature. So this is not in fundamentals, and thank you so much for that, Rusty. And there's other additional tools there as well, like lines and shapes, sticky notes, text box, stickers. Our TLC team has become really proficient on stickers on iOS. If you haven't got into stickers at all, but definitely fun. So you can see that, and then I can easily just go ahead and erase all or clear all with that tool. So I'm going to hit clear all and get out of that, and then I will jump ahead to the next slide. So on the administrative settings side, there are now there were rolled out recently 2 settings that you could do at the administrative level within Google Meet that are currently on pause. So I'll mention them briefly, knowing I'm going to circle back to these when they're turned back on. But on the administrative side, in Google Meet, by OU, depending upon how you set it up, you could make 2 things happen. One is you could set a display. So for example, on my screen right now, I only see 4 people because I have a poll and other things open. But you can set as administrator a basic setup for how many windows are open for other people, as well as the where your presentation screen and so on is. It's like a template idea. You can set that, and then you also can make a whiteboard setting on what you can and can't do. So that is something that is paused currently because it was buggy. So I'll circle back when that comes back up again. And then finally, just 2 coming soon things. This one I'm super excited about, and I know that this will be part of you will have to carry an extra or an upgraded license to be able to do the e-signature. But this is like a replacement for some of the PDF not PDF annotation. We all know about that. It's more of like a locked, like a document where you have to add a signature. We've all got these with mortgage documents and things like that, where you have to add a signature, add your initials and so on. You can make a Google Doc into requiring an e-signature and then put it in an email and send it out. That's coming soon, so I'll be briefing you on that, or one of my team members will be coming forward. And then managing spaces at scale with chat API functionality. So I had said earlier, I would circle back to spaces. So two things, new controls are coming for spaces for administrators, where I can audit spaces, or basically within my organization, just like shared drives, I can see a global view of all the spaces that have been created in my organization. And I can, so the term audit here basically is monitor and see what's going on with them and whether or not these are desirable within my organization. And again, based on your OU permissions, are you able to create a space or not? That's dependent upon you and at your district and what you've set up. And then deleting inactive spaces in bulk. So you could go in and add in bulk, delete all kinds of or different spaces within your environment that you don't necessarily want around. And you can click on, or you can follow that link to join the developer preview program if you want an early look at this one. So this is one of those where you might be interested in always being on the cutting edge or the bleeding edge, right? Depending upon how you see it. And you could do that by way of the developer preview program by that QR code. And so with that, I am just wanting to say that we're excited to have you here at Trifera, and we're excited to be doing these webinars monthly. And Kate, were there any questions in the chat?
There were no questions in the chat, but again, yeah, thank you everyone for being here. I normally get to do a little intro for myself too, but hi everybody, I'm Kate. I help out with all sorts of our online sessions, things like that. I moderate the chat and just kind of hang out as your friend. But I'm so grateful that you all are here. Thanks, Corey and Lindsay and Rusty. That was so much fun, and I can't wait for the next one. Woo-hoo.
The beautiful slides you got to see are all Kate. So thank you, Kate, and thank you for moderating. Yes, very much. And thank you everyone for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.